The most important skill, because I was thinking about it afterwards, because yeah, you can use it and it will help, but the most important skill is going to be your ability to ask the right questions or come up with the correct or prompts that will lead to useful answers. And so for anybody who knows, you know, or has used AI and, you know, is in that world, everybody knows that the prompts are the most important thing. Like what you ask it and what you tell it will be extremely important. And that's going to make the difference between a useful answer and not so useful. So, you know, and I'll give you a couple examples. So I've also been using um, specifically Claude, but I've been using AI at our convenience store businesses. And so what whatever I'm doing, like for example, like I was making something that, you know, for daily uh reconciliation, right? To make sure the sales all match up with all the receipts and everything. And just like the recording all the sales and whatnot. I was making something and, you know, the first version of it was fine. It was actually very good. Um, but I needed to go back and clarify a lot of things because I had not included that in the prompt itself. And so um, that's a skill that, but, and now that I think about it, this is the same skill that you need to train a human being. So if you're training an employee, right? If you don't ask the right questions or have enough context, then the other person that's being trained is not going to be able to do as good of a job as they can because you didn't prompt them correctly. So as far as like coming getting something useful out of the AI or an employee, it's all going to depend on the person putting forward the prompts and the context and the questions that they're putting in there, right? Um, and so like that first version of the logbook that I created, it was actually very, very good, but I had to go back and like add a few things in there. There was like a particular order that I go in. I was just making an inventory tracking thing for all um, the alcohol, and it was, I think that's my uncle over there. All right. I work with my uncle and my dad at our convenience stores. So I'm gonna have to call. He's gonna probably call me and interrupt right now. But the inventory apping thing or inventory tracking app thing was pretty damn good, but I have to go back and give it some more specific instructions. So similarly, when you're asking about fat loss or having AI help you with fat loss, it's going to be very important that you prompt correctly, or thoroughly, I guess is better. So, you know, you could just say, "Hey, make me a program to help me lose fat and a diet." It'll come up with something that'll work, but you didn't tell it like, hey, these are all my constraints. I work from this time to this time. I work at home or I work in the office. At my office, these are the things available for employees for food. There's a gym there. This is what that gym has. So the more thorough, I only have 20 minutes. I would like to work out 20 minutes a day. The more specific and context you provide, the better it's going to come up with or it's going to come up with a more useful answer. So just wanted to share that because I think it is a very powerful tool and a very useful tool. But again, tools only are as good as the person using the tool. So and I think right now this is a great time because this is a skill that everybody should be developing. Not every, I mean, you don't have to develop it, but I think it is a useful skill that you should have in your tool belt because it can really enhance a lot of things. So, like for smaller businesses, inventory is the biggest thing. Like because, especially with us, like we have, multiple stores, and my dad and my uncle, they're old school. They didn't keep track of inventory. They just worked all the time, so they knew what was there, what wasn't there. So, like, if I'm one person doing all this for all these stores, it's very difficult to do that. It's not difficult, it's just very time consuming. So, I'm going to continue experimenting with making the stores, um or being able to do all that stuff in a shorter amount of time using AI, and that's going to be dependent on my ability to prompt. So, anyways, um, yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. And have a wonderful day.